In honor of Christmas a couple days ago, Gooseworks opened her Ask and answered a large number of them. Episode 5 will actually be about Jax, and Episode 6 will be about Ragatha. In Episode 5, Jax is going to suffer a lot. We will also see Jax's room in the new episode. Pomni will be the worst at playing baseball in the new adventure. In this video, I'll break down all the little details we've recently learned about Episode 5. Let's talk about who the 5th episode will be dedicated to. We used to think that new episodes would be all about revealing the character of one specific character who is listed for that episode. I'm talking about that list that Gooseworks gave us on Twitter a long time ago. However, the system of spotlights for new episodes doesn't quite work that way. On Tumblr, a user asked Gooseworks a question. Since Episode 5 the main spotlight is on Ragatha, what exactly will she be developing about her character? And Gooseworks gave a very unexpected answer. I said Episode 5 is the Ragatha episode, and that's still mostly true, but I think it's probably a bit more accurate to say that Ragatha and Jax kind of share Episodes 5 and 6 equally. By the way, before this post, Gooseworks explained on Tumblr that characters will get moments with their character development even after the episode dedicated to them has already been released. That makes a big difference in how we see the new episode. A thought occurred to me about some of the previous episodes. Do you ever feel like Episode 3 isn't the only episode that focuses on two characters at once? In my opinion, each episode didn't really focus on one character, but on a duo of some sort. The pilot was dedicated to Pomni, but at the same time as we got to know her, we learned the reason why Ragatha always tries to be kind and actively participate in adventures. She said that if you don't participate in adventures, you can be alone with your thoughts that everyone is doomed and there is no way out. Pomni and Ragatha were revealed together in pilot for a reason. Thanks to another old Gooseworks post, we know that Ragatha will become Pomni's best friend. So from Episode 5 onwards, Pomni and Ragatha will be spending more time together. The second episode was all about Gummy Goo. But in doing so, we also saw significant steps that Pomni took in that moment. She realized that the rest of the people in the circus would support her no matter what. About Episode 3, I don't need to explain anything, you understand it all by yourself. Episode 4 is much more interesting. It definitely focuses any viewer's attention specifically on Gangle. That said, you could say that Episode 4 is also about either Jax or Ragatha. The 4th episode showed us Jax from a whole new side. When Jax got into a situation that was not at all like a normal adventure but similar to real life, he started behaving completely differently. After he lowered Ragatha into the boiling oil, he stopped bullying the others. Jax started interacting with the other characters respectfully and no longer took pleasure at the expense of the girl's pain. On the other hand, the 4th episode can be considered a dedication to Ragatha. We have never seen Ragatha before, who doesn't hold back and says whatever she thinks. These moments showed that Ragatha has a lot of bad thoughts about her friends and can be very rude to others. Let's go back to discussing the details of the 5th episode. Now we realize that it will also focus on Jax. But what exactly will the new episode show us about Jax's character? First of all, Jax is going to suffer a lot in Episode 5. I think he's going to experience a lot of physical pain. Another user on Tumblr asked the question, which episode will Jax suffer the most in? The most interesting part here is how Gooseworks answered that question. Haha. Oh. When I saw this answer, I immediately thought that these Gooseworks chose those exact words for a reason. I remembered that quite a while ago, a user on Tumblr asked Gooseworks to describe each episode that hadn't been released yet using only one word. Gooseworks described Episode 5 and Episode 3 with those exact words. The word haha corresponds to Episode 5, and the word oh corresponds to Episode 3. In Episode 5, Jax is in for some suffering, but what kind of suffering? I have a few theories about that. To understand how Jax will suffer in Episode 5, let's remember what happened to him in Episode 3. We didn't see exactly how Jax got hurt in Episode 3, but by the time the adventure in Mildenhall Manor was ending for everyone but Pomni and Kinger, Jax was tied up and trying to break free. It was obvious that Jax was very angry and irritated at this. We don't know what exactly the ghost did to him, but no one had ever been able to defeat Jax before. He may have suffered so much in Episode 3 because the ghost took over his body the same way they took control of Pomni's body. During this process, Pomni's limbs took on unnatural poses. I'm sure Pomni felt all the physical pain that must have ensued at that moment. A user from Tumblr recently asked Gooseworks if characters in Digital Circus could be killed or starved to death. Gooseworks explained that none of the characters can die, but they feel all the pain. If the ghosts were doing the same thing to Jax's limbs, that would explain what his suffering was in Episode 3. I think there's a reason Gooseworks made a reference here to both Episode 5 and Episode 3 at the same time. These episodes have a connection. I believe that we will see all the NPCs again in Episode 5. The adventure in Episode 5 will focus on a sporting event in that stadium that Kane closed off from us in the new episode's trailer. That said, we never got to see a scene from one old teaser where we can see Gumigo, Princess Lulalalu, Martha Mildenhall, and Orbsman. They are standing motionless in the same row. I have mentioned many times that they are in a new room outside the map. That's the location Gumigo and Pomni went to in Episode 2. All these facts lead us to the fact that many different NPCs from previous episodes will appear in Episode 5. They will participate in sports baseball competitions against the main characters. However, all the adventures are created by Kane, so I expect the rules of the game to be changed a lot from the baseball we are used to. Most likely, all NPCs will be able to take advantage of their special abilities against the main characters during the game. At the very least, Martha Mildenhall will be in the game. Or it could be that ghostly Baron Mildenhall and all the other ghosts will play alongside her. In order to win the Mast, they will inhabit the body of one of the best players in the team of protagonists, Jax. Thus, the ghost will cause Jax a lot of physical pain, and we'll see exactly what happened to Jax off-screen in Episode 3. What will be going on with the main character team? From what we know, the best players are likely Ragatha and Jax. But Ragatha is unlikely to be involved in the game. I think she will take the place of either the commentator or the match referee. But Jax alone can't win the whole game. Obstacles to victory will be created not only by rival NPCs but also by allies. Ragatha taught Gangle how to play baseball at the beginning of Episode 4, so Gangle already understands some aspects of the game. I'm pretty sure the worst player will be Pomni. A Tumblr user asked Gooseworks to give us one Pomni line from Episode 5. The answer is this: I am just being here. In my opinion, this phrase fits the context of a sporting event perfectly. This phrase can be heard from a player who doesn't know the rules of the game and doesn't understand what's going on here and how to play. Also, if all the NPCs from previous episodes return, the enemy team will have Gumigo. If Pomni plays against him, she will try to give the victory to him. Another interesting fact about Episode 5 is that we will be able to see Jax's room. It has always presented a mystery. Jax's room stood out from the rest, because on the official pin we couldn't see it, unlike the other characters' rooms. In Jax's room, all we saw was the door and the void. On Tumblr, Gooseworks confirmed that we will be able to see Jax's room in the new episode. That's it for today. What do you think will happen in Episodes 5 and 6? How will Jax get hurt? Write your theories in the comments, and I'll be sure to read them. Also, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Good luck everyone, and bye-bye.